My husband came home drunk for the fifth time this week. Dina, where's my food? I can hear the plates breaking in the kitchen. I'm in bed trying to get up to tend to my husband. My stomach has been acting like crazy since this morning. I heard another tumble from the kitchen table, making me rush toward him. I'm sorry, I'll prepare your food now. I thought you were going to eat out with your workmates. He slammed on the wall the nearest glass his hands could grab. I almost lost my balance by what he did. Even if I go out for dinner, you should still prepare my food. You are so worthless. Go to hell. He went near me and pushed me down. I whimpered in pain. The throbbing ache in my stomach grows prominent. This is all your fault. I don't know what's the meaning of my life anymore. Every day I laid my eyes on you, it reminded me of how unfortunate I am. I have a stupid and useless wife that hasn't done any good. You can't even cook, and you have never given me a child. He walked past me and went straight to our bedroom. I was lying there, enduring the pain from the floor. Fred is always like this. He always reminds me of how stupid and worthless I am in his life. Maybe it is true, because I could not give him the one thing he desires the most, a child. We tried many things, from medical consultations to spiritual advice, but still, we are not yet blessed with a baby. And he always blames me for everything. He told me that I was the problem. I tried to get up and almost slipped again when my lower was reached. I have been experiencing this pain for the past week, and it's been 5 days since my period was delayed. The morning came, and I was preparing my husband's breakfast when the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, it was my husband's co-worker. Good morning, Mrs. Quill. Fred left his phone in my car. I want to return it to him before he comes to the office. I thought he might receive an important call. Thank you for this, Mr. Valdez. I will give this to him. You're welcome. See you around. I heard my husband approaching, and when I looked at him, his eyebrows frowned. Hey, Fred, I bought back your phone. I'll go now. See you at the office. Fred waved back at him as his co-worker went inside his car and drove away. My husband grabbed me, and I was utterly taken aback. What are you thinking? He shouted at me. His grip was tightening around my arm. Fred, it hurts. His eyes widened as he looked at me as if I made a terrible mistake. I saw how you smiled at Pete. Are you two having an affair? He yelled again. What are you talking about? He just bought your phone back. And of course, it's common courtesy to smile back at someone who did something kind. What is wrong with that? He slapped me in the face. I can feel my jaw numbing from the impact. And now you're talking back? If I ever found out something, I would kill you. He threatened me. After that, he let go of me and left the house. He left me there as if I was some dirtbag. I could not hold myself together, and the next thing I knew is that I collapsed. My eyes twitched as I felt a light touching my eyelids. I woke up and saw a doctor beaming a flashlight at me. He stopped what he was doing and smiled at me. Ah, you're awake now. Don't worry, you're in a stable condition now. I looked around and I realized I was at the hospital. I looked at the bedside and saw my husband. I'll leave the both of you then. I'll return when you are ready to be discharged, Mrs. Quill. I nodded and looked at my husband. What happened to me? You collapsed, and as a concerned husband, I brought you here. It would be best if you were grateful that I still cared for you and rushed you here. It's your fault that I was mad earlier. You were flirting with my workmate. That's not true. I just received your phone. Lies. I will not put an end to this notion until I have evidence. My heart is pounding like crazy. Why is he like this? Why is he accusing me of cheating? Fred has always been the jealous type, and when he's jealous, he cannot control himself. I just kept silent because whenever I talk back, he either gives me a slap or a hurtful statement. Hours passed and the both of us were silent as a ghost. The doctor finally returned and told us I was ready to be discharged. However, before we left the room, he handed us an envelope. Congratulations, you might want to open that when you get back to your house. I was curious about what was inside, and when we got home, I almost threw the envelope I was holding. Upon seeing the results, I couldn't contain my happiness and yelled out of pure joy, "Yes, I'm pregnant!" It was a test result indicating that I was pregnant. The doctor ran some results when they checked on me while I was unconscious. My husband came rushing to our room and looked at me with irritation. "Can you shut up?" he yelled at me. "Fred, I have good news." I tried to reach out for his hands, but he pushed me back. Maybe this news will change him completely. I gave him the result. My heart is pounding like crazy. This is the moment that we have all been waiting for. After almost 20 years of marriage, Fred and I were never blessed with a child. But now, as I turned 41, a miracle finally happened, and I am now expecting our very first child. He stared at the results for a minute until he dumped it inside the garbage can. My eyes widened in disbelief. Why did you do that?" I quickly got the pregnancy results from the bin and showed it to him. "It says positive. It means that I'm pregnant. Love, we're going to have a baby." I said each word optimistically, but my husband's emotions were the opposite. "Are you sure about that?" I'm so confused by his question. "Of course I am. The doctor handed us this result, saying I'm with a child." He remained emotionless while staring at me. He also stared me down from head to toe. "You should go back to the doctor and get checked," my husband suggested. He was about to leave when I caught his arms. "I don't need to go back to the doctor. The result says it's positive." "Oh, really? Have you lost your mind, woman?" "I haven't lost my mind. This is a dream come true for us." "Oh, do shut up. You're too old to have a child. Your skin is saggy, your body looks like a slouching bear, your hair is turning gray, and your whole existence is deteriorating. If you're fit to have a child, you could have been impregnating right from the start, right at the beginning of our marriage. But here you are 41 years later, pregnant? I can't even prove if that baby is mine." He grabbed the results and slammed them on the floor. He stepped on it and grabbed my hair to shove my face on it. "That's your delusion. It's broken into pieces." He dragged me to the floor and I shouted in pain. I'm not having delusions. I'm genuinely pregnant with our child." "I will not have that child. We tried everything we could, remember? Then how come it took this long for you to bear one? You're even too old to have one. Maybe you cheated on me and got yourself pregnant? You're a whore." I was shocked by this statement. I thought his notions about the cheating agenda were out of pure jealousy, but now he's accusing me of having a child with another man? You can't even imagine how hard it is for me to endure all the frustrations you have thrown at me. Do you think I never wanted a child? Do you think I'm happy to wake up every day and be childless? I waited for this day to happen, and now you're accusing me of having an affair? With who? I couldn't contain my emotions any longer. I sobbed while I said those words to him. With Pete? Oh, I saw you smiling at him earlier. I bet both of you already knew about it. I was too weak on my knees, and I fell to the floor. I couldn't fathom the things that he was saying. None of it was even true. I was having panic attacks because he insisted that the baby was not his. I could not imagine myself being with another man. Even though he mistreats me, I could not bear to be unfaithful. I remained by his side no matter the circumstances. I thought he would be delighted to have a child finally. We have been waiting for this for so long, and the time has finally come. But look at him now, disowning it? He kneeled to my level and held my chin. He looked at me right into my soul. This is not my child. He shoved me down the floor and left me there. I cried my heart out while holding my baby bump. This was the first time I knew about my baby's existence, and I didn't want to feel this way. I thought we were going to be happy. I begged him not to leave me, but he shut our bedroom door, and from then on, he was gone. My husband left us. My baby and I were all alone. My aunt came to my rescue, and she lived with me until I gave birth to my daughter. During the 9 months of pregnancy, I never heard a word from my husband aside from him spreading rumors about me cheating. He even dragged his co-worker into his stories, costing them their friendship. But it was nothing for him, just as how nothing he feels for us. The day of my delivery came. I gave birth to a healthy baby girl. The medical staff told me it was a miracle that I could still have a child this late without having any prior. I hugged my baby so tight. She was a beauty. Her beautiful features are evident even though she's still so young. And in fact, she had Fred's nose. I will call you Miracle. My aunt hugged us. Do not worry, Dina. I will never leave you both. 13 years have passed, and I was living a good life with my daughter. My aunt also helped us tremendously when it came to finances. I worked as an office clerk and an international tutor at night. I hustled hard for my daughter to give her a bright future. Miracle grew up to be a loving, charming, obedient, and beautiful daughter. She's the greatest gift that I ever had. Despite the hardship, I'm grateful that we are together. I heard that my husband is living his best life as a chief engineer, and I was so shocked that until now, he never filed for divorce when he could. One day, we were having dinner. My aunt came home late, but she brought with her exciting news. Dina, Miracle, I have good news. What is it? She handed me a brochure and showed me something on her phone. It's a casting audition for new actresses in a high-budgeted movie, and Miracle just checked all the qualifications. My eyes widened when my daughter fitted the role they sought. Tall, beautiful, with long black hair, a good singing voice, and a charming personality. I turned to Miracle. My love, do you want to audition? My daughter smiled so widely and looked at me with pure joy. Yes, Mother, I would love to. The next day, we went straight to the audition venue. Lots of girls lined up for the role. but I know my baby will make it to the top. The audition took 7 hours, and after that, the casting director announced the people that got the roles. And for their lead role, the talented girl that will embody Princess Thea's character is Miracle. I cheered so loudly that everyone stared at me. I didn't care because my daughter would be a star. Filming started the next day, and I went with my daughter daily. I was so amazed by how good she is at acting and how easy she is to work with. We got lots of compliments from the directors and other veteran actors. Miracle is such a prodigy. The future is bright for her, madam. She's a miracle. An actress said to me. My heart was flattered when I heard her remarks about my daughter. Months passed and the movie premiered. It became a hit, and my daughter's fame skyrocketed overnight. She was praised for her acting skills. Her acting clip on one of the movie's emotional scenes went viral, and people talked about her and her incredible talent. Her influence grew widely, and she amazed me even more when a percentage of her earnings was used to buy a small old engineering company's building that will serve as a home for homeless children. Mom, I am so happy that I could share my talent with the world, and I used it for kindness. I am so proud of you, my little one. You never fail to amaze me. The world is so happy to have been blessed with your talent. I hugged my daughter tightly as we were talking in our living room. She buried her face into my heart, and I want her to know I love her. I looked around and saw how our lives changed in an instant. From the struggles and mistreatment that I endured from my husband to a beautiful life with my daughter. I can genuinely say that I will never trade this for anything in the world. My daughter and I were having fun talking nonsense when I heard a knock on our front door. One of our maids quickly opened the door, and as soon as it opened, loud noises were heard. Sir, you're not allowed inside. This is private property. You have no right. I have every right to step into this house. You're trespassing. As soon as I heard that, I immediately went close to the commotion. What is this all about, Fred? My heart almost stopped pumping when I saw his face. He looked very different. When he saw me, he quickly approached me, but the security stopped him. Sir, you're already crossing the line. Dina, please. He begged, but the security guard is pushing him away, and Fred is trying to escape the security forces. But Miracle came, stood beside me, and Fred stopped moving. He was staring at Miracle, and I can see the tears falling down his cheeks. Miracle held my arms and hid behind me. Fred moved close, and I signaled the guard it was okay. As soon as he reached near us, he kneeled. As he knelt, I remembered the days that I was in his position. I am so sorry. I am sorry for everything I've done to you, my love. I will forever regret all the problematic things that I did. Please forgive me. Please accept me again. He cried and bent his face to the floor. He sobbed as if the world was taken away from him. He looked at me once again and then at our daughter. My child, look at you. You've grown. I saw how amazing you are on TV. As soon as I realized it was you, I couldn't stop crying and thinking about you. I have wasted so much time away from you. I'm so sorry for leaving you. You disowned me. Fred cried a little more after hearing what my daughter said. The regret in his voice was very evident. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. You left us with nothing. You abused Mother as if she was nothing to you. You never claimed me as your child because for you, my life was just nothing. I held my daughter's hand and tried to calm her down. Fred cried and cried. Please help me. I have nowhere else to go. And now you come back to us because you have nothing? Where were you when we were the ones who had nothing? I lost everything, my family, my career, my money, my engineering company. I lost it all. When he said the last thing, I realized something. You owed that engineering company building, did you? I don't owe it anymore. Someone bought it for a bullshit charity. I guessed at what he said. Even at his lowest, he is still a jerk, disrespectful, and rude. I bought it. I bought your company for a bullshit charity. My daughter emphasized the word bullshit. Fred's eyes widened and realized his stupidity. He will never have our forgiveness. If you wish to be forgiven, you must earn it. Learn from your mistakes and try to be a better person. I am glad a man like you never raised me. You have lost the chance and hope of getting your family back, your life back to be exact. After my daughter said it, she went inside. I looked down at Fred, not with pity, but with contentment. That I had released myself from the trauma he gave me and my daughter. You have truly lost it, Fred. Guard, send this man away. Do not let him go near. The security dragged Fred away. And from then on, Miracle and I worked hard to sustain the charity foundation that we started. My daughter became not only famous, but influential. We never saw Fred again, and his forgiveness will never be accepted until he learns how to forgive himself for what he did to